Royal Raymond Rife was an American inventor and early exponent of high-magnification time-lapse cinematography. Is time-lapse photography applied to microscopy, which is the process in which microscope image sequences are recorded and then viewed at a greater speed to give an accelerated view of the microscopic process. In this video we will see who was Royal Rife and his importance in the scientific field, and how one of his inventions is unknown by the public despite his importance as an alternative to cancer treatments. Rife is known for his microscopes, which he claimed could observe live microorganisms with a magnification considered impossible for his time, and for an oscillating beam ray invention, which he thought could treat various ailments by devitalizing disease organisms using radio waves. Although he came to collaborate with scientists, doctors, and inventors of the epoch, and his findings were published in newspapers and scientific journals like the Smithsonian Institution Annual Report of 1944, they were later rejected by the American Medical Association, AMA, the American Cancer Society, ACS, and mainstream science. Little reliable published information exists describing Rife's life and work. In the 1930s, he made several optical compound microscopes and, using a movie camera, took time-lapse microscopy movies of microbes. Rife also reported that a beam ray device of his invention could destroy microbial pathogens. Rife claimed to have documented a mortal oscillatory rate for various pathogenic organisms, and to be able to destroy the organisms by vibrating them using radio waves of this particular frequency. According to the San Diego Evening Tribune in 1938, Rife stopped short of claiming that he could cure cancer, but did argue that he could devitalize disease organisms in living tissue, with certain exceptions. In the 1920s and 30s, Dr. Royal Raymond Rife, a bacteriologist studying at Johns Hopkins University, observed that viruses, bacteria, and cancer cells had their own resonance frequencies. He built his research off of studies conducted by a 20th-century scientist, Dr. Albert Abrams, who believed, all matter vibrates, that vibration is what we call frequency, and vibrations were specific to the type of matter and what it's made of. Those vibrations emitted by different types of matter can be detected, classified, and measured by specialized operators. Building on Dr. Abrams' research, Dr. Rife theorized that cancer cells could be targeted by outside electromagnetic frequencies, EMFs. Then, the cells would undergo apoptosis, cell death, where it will either implode or explode. This was the genesis of the Rife machine, a tool that matches the specific frequency of different cancer cells and delivers low-energy electromagnetic waves to the body. In 1934, Dr. Rife conducted experiments on 16 terminal cancer patients. According to some claims, his Rife machine for cancer cured 14 of the patients, and the other 2 stayed for more intensive treatments. For weeks later, the other 2 were reported to be cured. Why isn't the Rife machine more popular? Unfortunately, research with the Rife machine abruptly stopped when the American Medical Association, AMA, refused to publish any paper supporting the Rife technology. It's commonly thought that the AMA was directly responsible for the suppression of the Rife device, which was considered new medical technology. In fact, in 1942 the U.S. Court of Appeals found the AMA guilty of suppressing new medical technologies in favor of drug companies. It wasn't until the 1980s that research with the Rife machine resumed. In 1987, Barry Lines wrote and published a book titled The Cancer Cure That Worked, which revived the subject in alternative therapy circles. Today, researchers are still experimenting with the Rife machine. While there are no long-term studies on its effects, scientists have concluded that low Rife frequency electromagnetic waves do affect tumors while leaving healthy cells untouched. While studies on its effectiveness are still being conducted, the Rife machine has become a well-known alternative to traditional cancer therapies. To understand its effects on cancer, it's important to know how the Rife machine works. How the Rife machine works. Dr. Rife compared his experiments to an opera singer who breaks a wine glass by using her vocal cords. The sound made from striking and holding the correct musical note, frequency, would interact with the glass, causing it to vibrate and shatter. Everything in the world has its own natural frequency. The Rife machine was designed to detect the natural frequency of bacteria, viruses, or cancer cells, and match them. Like the opera singer and the glass, the Rife machine emits a frequency to target the cells and causes them to undergo apoptosis. Effects on cancer. Because cancer cells have their own natural resonance, the frequency at which a cell vibrates, they can be targeted by EMFs without harming the healthy cells in the body. An easy way to visualize what the Rife machine does is to imagine you have a soda bottle. If you open it and listen, you hear the fizz inside the soda. Now replace the cap on your imaginary soda bottle, and shake it up. In your mind's eye, you can see what happens if you open that bottle. The contents would explode in a sticky, sopping mess. Cancer cells act like the soda in your bottle. If you could observe the cancer cells, you'd see and hear them vibrating. In this analogy, the Rife machine is the bottle shaker. It picks up on cancer cells' specific vibrations and shakes them up by emitting the same frequency at a higher volume. This causes the cancer cells to vibrate intensely, like the soda, and undergo apoptosis. Effects on the body. While the Rife machine is responsible for destroying cancer cells, it leaves healthy cells untouched. According to Dr. Rife's research, cancer cells vibrate at a low frequency while other cells in the body vibrate at a higher frequency. Because the Rife machine targets the cancerous cells at their specific low frequencies, the rest of the body remains unaffected. Studies have shown that extremely low-frequency EMFs have no causal role in cancer development. The low-energy waves emitted by the Rife machine do little harm to the body, as opposed to traditional cancer therapies like chemotherapy, which comes with a laundry list of adverse side effects. Because Rife machine treatments have few side effects, it's considered safe and may be effective for many types of cancers. What does the Rife machine treat? The Rife machine is designed to tune into your body and listen for abnormally low frequencies. Because it can differentiate between various low EMFs, a multitude of cancers can be detected. The list is nearly endless, but a handful of them are breast cancer, melanoma, prostate cancer, leukemia, bone cancer, carcinoid tumors, kidney cancer, liver cancer, among pretty much all diseases people can think of. There are 1.8 million new cancer patients per year in the US alone. Traditional treatments cure some patients, but others undergo treatment with little success and all of the side effects. To understand why Rife machine therapy is gaining popularity, take a look at how traditional treatments are so debilitating for cancer patients. Chemotherapy, how it affects cancer cells and you. To understand why chemotherapy is so effective, you must know how cancer cells operate. Normal body cells multiply through asexual reproduction, called mitosis, cell division. This involves the original cell splitting into 2, and then into 4, 8, and so on. Cancer cells are still wired to reproduce, but they're intrinsically damaged, so they cannot function the way normal cells do. Furthermore, cancerous cells are programmed to divide rapidly, forming a mass, or tumor. That mass blocks the rest of the healthy organ from doing its job. Because the body can't heal itself from cancer, patients are compelled to seek outside help. The most traditional form of cancer treatment is chemotherapy, a cocktail of chemicals designed to kill cells when they go through cell division. Unfortunately, chemotherapy drugs aren't able to differentiate between healthy and cancerous cells. They kill any cells that are actively dividing in the body. That's why normal body cells that divide constantly are so affected by chemotherapy. The most common side effects include hair loss. Your hair is always growing, meaning hair follicle cells are always dividing. This is why most cancer patients undergoing chemotherapy lose their hair. Overall fatigue and weakness. Your bone marrow cells are constantly dividing, producing new blood cells. Chemotherapy attacks those cells, translating to weakness, frail bones, and overall fatigue. Discolored, sagging, or unhealthy skin. Humans lose about 30,000 to 40,000 dead skin cells every minute. That's 50 million skin cells per day. 9 As such, the skin is deeply affected by chemotherapy chemicals. Nausea and vomiting. The lining in your digestive system is constantly renewing itself, partially because our stomach acid is naturally acidic. When chemotherapy drugs kill the cells in your digestive system, it causes intense nausea and regular vomiting. Because of these adverse side effects, cancer patients, especially those who have undergone chemotherapy with little or no success, turn to alternative treatments like Rife machine therapy. These devices are designed to treat the whole body in the most effective and least damaging way possible. The Rife machine treatment process. When a patient elects for Rife machine therapy, they must be connected to the device to receive the signals. Electrical pads are placed on their hands and feet, or the patient is instructed to hold onto a plasma tube. These pads or tubes are connected to the Rife machine, which is calibrated to an electromagnetic frequency specific to a type of cancer. Once the Rife frequency generator is running, that frequency is sent into the body to target cancer cells. Because the energy from the device is low, it's a painless experience. Rife machine therapy can be conducted a few minutes per day, several times per week. However, finding the optimal frequency and length of administration time requires the help of a professional. Each Rife treatment plan will differ for every cancer patient, so always consult a doctor before trying new therapies. Rife supporters continue to claim that impulses of electromagnetic frequencies can disable cancerous cells and other microorganisms responsible for diseases. Most of these claims, according to mainstream science, have no scientific research to back them up, and Rife machines are not approved for treatment by health authorities in the world. Multiple promoters have been convicted of health fraud and sent to prison. Like usually happen to people that go against the pharmaceutical empire and the system. Royal Rife died in August 5, 1971 at 83 years old, abandoned by his colleagues, in debt, homeless. But his legacy remains, and today is more alive than ever, since people are starting to realize how corrupted the medical and pharma industry is, and that they just care about filling their pockets without remorse. Thank you for watching. If this type of content resonates with you, don't forget to follow, like and comment, and remember, the greatest thing is to give people your enlightenment, to share it.